Today, I have a special treat for you. If you aren't aware, on our other channel, Second Mile Journey, we've been doing some creator interviews with other YouTubers. And so originally, I scheduled an interview with some new friends of ours for that purpose. But the reason why we chose to interview this couple that I want to share with you today is because they are on a very similar journey to Art and I. And so I want to share that with all of you. For any of you that are interested in homesteading or just even thinking about starting to go off grid or starting a homestead of any sort, I want to share with you Life on Purpose Off Grid. These are our new friends, Will and Odette. Because it is homestead related, I wanted to share that over here. So if you're interested in that kind of content, I encourage you to go check them out. Again, it's Life on Purpose Off Grid. And now let's jump into that interview.
I'm Will Hooks.
And I'm Odette Hooks.
And together we are
Life on Purpose Off Grid.
I love that. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So for the viewers, I'll say the way that we kind of found each other, I don't remember if it was Think Media or vidIQ, but one of you had left a comment. And when I saw your comment, I saw your name and I thought, Life on Purpose Off Grid, that sounds like they are on the same journey that we're on. And so I went and looked at your channel and I was like, oh gosh, yes. So tell us about your family. Do you have two sons? Is that right?
We have two sons and one daughter.
And one daughter. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now,
one's an electrician, right?
Well, that is funny that you made that comment, Art, because he's actually not a certified electrician. He just he's learned these things along the way.
That's
when
even
he
better.
Was in the military, they switched him over from medic into engineering, and so he learned a lot in the engineering area.
Well, awesome.
And he had to work on plane engines and things like that. So he just learned a lot of stuff.
Well, good.
That is
Jack of all
awesome.
trades.
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome.
He put his skills to work because he purchased himself an RV.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he literally took it all the way down to basically
he stripped the walls off of it.
The frame. And,
wow.
And he rebuilt it up, and so he discovered a lot about electricity and solar and.
Well,
he's teaching us.
Right.
Yeah.
he's teaching us.
Good.
Now, what branch of the military was he in?
He was in the Air Force.
Oh, my son is Air Force also.
I see.
Awesome.
I see your hat. You're airborne?
Army, yeah.
Army, airborne. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good deal. Thank you for your service, man.
Well, both of us.
So both of you. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Branch Army also? Both
Army?
We met
there, yeah.
That's really? What I was going to ask. Awesome.
All right.
Now, how long have you been married?
33. 33
years. Heading to 34.
Oh, congratulations.
That's awesome. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Well, cool.
That is so cool. Now, okay, your kids, how old are each of them?
So the youngest, he's 20.
Okay.
The oldest son is 27, and our daughter is 35.
Okay. And then how many grandkids?
Three. Two granddaughters and one boy.
Oh, and what are the age ranges on those?
Okay, here we go. We got a newborn in December.
Oh.
Isaac will be 5 in June, and Lyric just turned 9 in January.
Lyric, I love that name.
That's a beautiful name.
Cute. Okay, so tell us what prompted your journey into trying to go off grid.
Let you start that.
It's her fault.
Okay.
So were we dating, or had we just gotten married?
We weren't married yet. It was about 2 weeks before we got married when you said that to me.
So we're engaged, and we're at this time we were in Germany. We met in Germany.
Awesome.
Okay.
And so we were engaged, and I suggested to my then fiance, who would be my wife, I said, "Hey, let's get a farm." Now, I'm a Georgia native. I took my first breath in the sweet onion city of Vidalia, Georgia.
Awesome.
Right? My wife is a Yankee.
Okay.
Okay. So she's from New York, right?
Okay.
And you're talking about basically, yeah, we were young then, and our mindset wasn't where it is today.
He's being nice. My mindset was nowhere near where I am
Yeah.
today.
And so she completely rejected the idea of no farming for me, no nature for me. So
I actually remembered exactly what I said to him that
Uh-oh.
day. I remember it, and I could just go back and just strangle her. But I remember telling him, he said, "You wouldn't move on a farm with me?" And I looked at him and I said, with so much love and compassion in my eyes, I said, "Baby, I will love you from a distance. No."
No, no can do.
yeah,
And I really loved him, but I could not see that. Not someone, I still had my New York. I was so fresh. The city was still in me so fresh. I still had my accent. My New York accent was so strong back then. And I just loved being in the city. And I just could not see myself being that far away from from what I thought was life back then.
so
Right.
Green Acres didn't work for me.
I see. Okay, just one time in New York accent, say coffee.
Coffee.
That's right. That's right. Some coffee. That's right. Good deal. You don't hear that often down here. Well, that's interesting that you come from the big city and then you're from Georgia. Now, how big is Vidalia, Georgia? Is it like did you come from a big community or was it outskirts or
It would be
rural?
considered rural.
Rural. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, all of Oklahoma's rural. No, I'm just kidding. We're
No.
not. You'd think from. Well, that's neat. So you guys are you guys in a rural area now? Are you in a suburb or in off
We're in the burbs,
burbs?
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we're like probably 22, 23 miles from the heart of downtown Atlanta.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
Yep.
have you made a decision yet? I know in one video you were kind of toying with different states. Are you leaning one way or another?
I know we're not staying here anymore. After the research, I know we're not going to stay in Georgia. We know
Okay.
that.
Look,
But what you
the one that's risen to the top quicker than the others has been Alabama.
Okay.
Alabama.
It it's got a lot of what we're looking for. So far, so we're not settled yet, but that's the top contender right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
It's not as it's not as dense,
right.
and so that's really a factor that we're looking for. Actually, where we presently live, if we could have taken a picture then,
About 22 years ago when we first moved here.
right, and
Mhm.
what it
Yeah.
has become, we never would have guessed it. Never would have
Right.
guessed it. So it's like, and we came here because at the time we thought we were, getting
Kinda-
away.
Right.
Right. I
Yeah.
think that's the case in a lot of areas. I mean, in the town that Shayla lives in, Owasso, Oklahoma, I used to
Mhm.
work there 25 years ago, and that town was a suburb of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but wasn't half the city that it is now. So
Okay.
what used to be the outskirts of town is really just, I mean, in the heart of Owasso now. So I think
Right.
that's one. I'm not speaking for you, Shayla, but that's probably one of the reasons why you had the idea or like the country life.
Mm-hmm.
No, yes.
No, well, now I was at the chamber. I was with the chamber for 8 years and never actually dreamed that I would ever leave that until right during the pandemic. Like, just something clicked in me, something changed, and I realized I have given my blood, sweat, and tears for this job, and it can be taken away in an instant. And what am I doing this for? I have missed my kids growing. They grew up, and I was so busy working, I missed it.
Right.
And
Right.
started expanding my garden because our hours had been cut and everything. So I just had more time in my garden, and I realized this is what I want to do. I don't, I don't want to give my life to a company anymore. I want to be in nature and do
Right.
that.
Yes.
And
Right.
then when Art and I
Right.
met, we were kind of on the same path, and we just clicked over that, and we had a lot of the same goals.
Right.
My son got into gardening. My oldest son got into gardening when he was, I don't know, Christopher might have been 9 or 10. And we went to his grandfather's house, and he has a nice size garden. He lives in North Carolina. He has a beautiful, huge garden. And my son became very interested in it. So via the phone, my son was able to communicate back and forth with his grandfather on how to start a small garden in the back.
That
And
is
of course, I'm mom, so I have to help him.
Yeah.
And I found out, now I'm the type of person, I don't like every year going out into the yard and planting annual flowers. In my mind, I just don't see the point, because it's just not my thing. Nothing against anyone else, but it's just not my thing. But when I started growing food, and I started seeing it go from the seed unto the, from the seed to the flower, and to the vegetable or the fruit, something clicked inside of me.
Yeah.
And every year I started helping my son and learning more and more and more. And then I was like, I don't just like camping, because I've kind of always been with nature. Even when I was in New York, I loved to go to summer camp in Virginia. And I loved it. But I just kind of fell in love with it at that point. And I told my husband, I really love to grow food. And it just kind of, the whole being outside and the farming thing, I think my husband was just praying, and all these years, I think that's what happened. Yeah. And so I really love it. I want the whole 9 yards, the cows, the chickens, the goat, everything.
I do too. Yep. That's awesome. So when you guys do find property, that is your plan to get the animals and everything?
Yes.
Right. A full-fledged homestead.
Yes. Awesome. So will any of them relocate with you, or are they staying put?
Well, the sons are relocating.
They are. Okay.
Our oldest son, when we asked him which state would he prefer of the four, a resounding Alabama he had no reservation. Yeah, he had no reservation.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah. Now the youngest one,
Who knows, right?
Florida.
He wants to go to Florida.
Because when we vacation, we've been vacationing in Florida since he was 3. So I'm trying to convince him that, son, vacationing in Florida and living in Florida are going to be quite different.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And he's
For
20,
sure.
you said?
He's 20.
Okay, yeah. My 20-year-old just moved to Colorado, so that was heartbreaking for me. I only have one left that's here nearby. I have 4. They just all keep leaving, so that's the bad thing about parenting. You raise them to be independent, but then when they do that, it's kind of breaks your heart.
As a mom, I get it. As
Yeah.
a mom, now the guys might, they're like, oh, go ahead, be free.
Yeah.
Well,
Drop me a line.
yeah. I think I would. I don't know if I could handle it if they left the state. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever dealt with any animals before?
I have.
You have.
I grew up with animals.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an experience, ain't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're thinking about getting cattle too, huh?
Yeah.
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 Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Art.
No. Go ahead, man.
I found out after 23 years of marriage that my husband, when he was a teenager, groomed cows, show cows.
Oh,
and
wow.
even won prizes. I found that after
23 years.
Were
you
you
left that little
afraid you were
detail
gonna
out,
scare
huh?
her off?
Well, cool.
I'm sorry.
He left that little detail out, huh?
Yes, he did. We had some friends over, and we were, just talking, and then we somehow or another we got onto the subject of animals, or somehow, and my husband started talking, and I sat there and I was like, what in the, and I said, why am I just now learning about this? You know what he said?
What's that?
It just never came up.
It never came up. That's right.
Came up.
That's a typical answer. That's a good answer.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
Well,
awesome.
good.
Yes.
So,
Good
Odette,
deal.
what changed your mind about wanting to to go off grid?
One was the fact I fell in love with gardening. Two, I think I miss the freedom of life.
Yes.
I miss I don't know, just life was different. 25, 30 years ago, life was different. I feel it's like everybody has their hand in the pot of our life, from the electric company to the water company to, just everybody, to the HOA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think it's ridiculous. This is just us, that we pay for this house. We pay taxes on this house, but so many other entities can come in and tell us how to run our house.
Right.
And I don't like that. I think it's the freedom that I miss. When I go out onto my deck, it is, well, up until about 3 years ago, it is so peaceful. Whenever the pandemic is when it really happened. It was so peaceful to go out on my back deck and just hear the birds in the morning, because believe it or not, the HOA is not great, but the community that we live in is a very quiet community. So I really enjoy listening to the birds in the morning chirp. And once they finish opening up that road over there, the trees are almost gone. I see traffic going back and forth. I hear traffic going back and forth early in the morning. And I really think I just miss my peace and quiet. And I think that that's what on the inside of me is just really hastened, that I'm ready to go and live off grid. 100%. I'm okay. We've both been in the military. We know what it's like to be out in the woods.
Yeah.
With nothing but a pup tent and a shovel.
That's
so
right.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
So you guys are about, I'm guessing you're probably 80s enlistment.
80s, and I started 90, actually 1990. I did.
Yeah,
89,
I was 89.
Yeah.
I went in February 89.
Yeah. So you know what it's like, just beating the bush, and you can handle all that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because even though he was artillery, I was forward support. And so whenever infantry or artillery went out, forward support went out.
Yep.
So we were out in the field just like artillery and just like infantry.
Oh yeah. Well, Shayla, you can relate to the loudness and the changes in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. The Owasso itself is just north of the Tulsa airport. And so I never used to hear the planes, but then when me and Art first started dating and he'd be over here helping me in the garden, he would stop and look at every plane that went by, and I was like, I don't even hear them. I don't know. I just tuned them out. Well, he made such a big deal about them. I started noticing them, and now I'm like, my gosh, these planes are going over the house all night long, and it never stops. So now I've just been like, get me out of here. I want away from these planes.
I'm mainly a country boy, and so being out there in the city, I can recognize all the planes and hear the different things going on, and just sound. I guess a lot of sound, but yeah.
Right. We sit at the turnaround point when they prepare to land.
Oh goodness.
The planes come out and they
Hover.
position themselves every day in, day out.
Oh.
We're at that point where they do that maneuver.
Yes, here too. That's exactly what. Yeah, and then we also have the Air National Guard is not far from here either. So when they are like testing their engines, oh my goodness, because it'll go for 30 minutes, and I'm like, if it had like a start and a stop, that would be one thing. But when it's just full blast for 30 minutes and that's all I can hear, I'm just like, I mean, I know it's necessary and I'm thankful for it. I just don't want to live right by it. I'm tired of listening to it.
Well, this homestead that we just purchased is 3 miles of dirt road in the country. So the only thing you'll hear is silence and cows once in a while. But it's been very quiet, and I'm getting. It's been a month, and I think I've only stayed there twice, and I'm missing it. So
Yeah. Yeah, we were out there last weekend, and when we left, Art's truck broke down on the way back into town. So his truck's at the shop right now, so he hasn't been able to get back out there. And when I'm here, it's an hour and a half drive for me, so I don't go because we don't have bathrooms yet.
Right.
So I gotta wait to start staying out there until we have a bathroom.
I have a question. I noticed you guys put those solar panels up. Do you all have any kind of water purification system put up yet for your off-grid?
No, the only thing I do, because we technically live in the city limits.
Okay, yeah.
We are literally 1 mile inward of the city limit.
I see.
So the only thing I've done to kind of try to get me prepared is we cut one of the pieces of the gutter out.
Yeah.
And we put an extension. At one point I had 3 55-gallon drums. I did the whole system just to see, how it worked. But after about a year of that, I went on ahead and I got rid of it. Because now they're drones. They send drones back and forth. And so I just went on ahead and got rid of it. I have 2 trash cans out there to water my garden, and that's it. So nothing on a large scale.
Right.
I didn't even have a filtration system because I only used it for the garden.
I see.
But it did help us understand just how much rain can be caught.
Exactly.
In a short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
So your HOA, are they pretty sticklers in your area?
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
Kamikazes.
I've been worried about drones in Shayla's neighborhood to see if they would look around, but because we have a big garden back there, she does. So, well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of wondered, like with my compost bins and stuff, I've just been waiting. One of these days, somebody's going to complain, I'm sure. But so far, everything's been fine.
Do you all compost for your vegetable garden?
No. However, well, my banana plants, I shred those up and I put them back in. Actually, I just did a video, I think yesterday.
Okay.
And I was just doing one where I'm repotting my plant. That one is for all my plant lovers. Okay. And actually, I was inspired by Shayla. I was actually inspired by you. Oh. Because I watch all of her plant videos.
We have a lot of plants. She has a lot of plants.
And so I put up there that this year for my banana plant, because honestly, I don't plan on being here next year. It takes a year for it to compost. And I normally just do a small pile, let me see, maybe about 4 to 6 feet, because I don't want anybody to complain about a smell or anything. So I just do about, 4 to 6 feet of it, turn it in the ground, and then I'll use it the next year. But this year I'm just I'm not even going to worry about it. But I did learn, how to do some basic composting from doing that.
Good.
To get us ready for that, for the off-grid life. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I fell in love with composting just because as I was expanding my garden and trying to fill more and more beds, I just realized, hey, I can reuse this potting soil and freshen it up again. And then I just really dove in and started learning about it. I actually started a compost business a long time ago and did that for a while. And then it outgrew my yard space and I had to start turning clients away because I was like, I can't take any more people's food scraps. My neighbors are going to complain for sure. Art has already been talking about wanting to jump the fence and go collect some cow manure from the pasture next to us until we get.
I'll do that. I don't care. I've done it. I've done it many times. Just save it and you pile it up and it's perfect next year. So
right.
Yeah, my husband had to educate me on. He was like, "Babe, when I first got into it, he said, where do you think your plant soil and where do you think all that comes from?" And I was like, "Ew."
Yeah.
But I'm okay now. But back then it was like, huh? No.
Yeah. Right.
That's funny.
Yep.
My youngest, the one that still lives here, Elijah, he when I first started gardening again, when the boys were teenagers here at this house, I've had other gardens, but when I started the garden at this house, he would not eat any of the vegetables. And even after I put the fence up around the garden, because he said rocky peas on it. And I was like, son, do you have any idea what your food outside of our garden goes through?
Right.
No idea.
That's funny.
Oh, that is.
That's funny.
Yes.
Okay, I had 2 questions while you were talking about the banana tree. So first, on your banana tree, I've been wondering, I have not wanted to leave ours out over winter because I didn't know if it would come back. So for you, yours come back every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
I give them every year. Actually, they multiply. I think this year I got 7 new ones. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
See, ours is in a pot. And yeah, I think we've got about 7 in the pot, little bitty ones that are popping out. So I was planning on taking that out to the new property and kind of start planting them out there. But I don't want to have to dig them up and bring them in every year. So I was hoping that they would stay. I've done some research and it says that, because you're in 8A, right?
Yes, 8B.
Okay. We're in 7A, and what I've read is that we're like on the borderline of whether or not it will come back. So I thought, as soon as I leave that thing outside, we're going to have like the worst winter ever. I just know it. That would be my luck.
I actually waited. Excuse me. I kept, if I remember correctly, because she's been out there a couple of years, I kept her in a pot for a couple of years until she was about, 5 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
And then I took her out and I planted her in the garden. And then when she died that year, I believe, if I remember correctly, I took the banana leaves and I packed them over top. And then I put plastic. And I put plastic over the top and I weighed it down with just whatever I found. And she came back. That was the only year I had to do that. But again, I'm in 8B. So, you might have to do that, every year until she gets big enough. This year, she got about 15 feet this year.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Very cool.
And you keep it in the ground?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Wow.
Very awesome. I hadn't told Art this yet, but I want to do a little section somewhere where it can be like a tropical garden. Like I'd like to do some different areas, you know what I mean? Like one area is kind of a cottage garden. I've already planned out where I want to put my cut flower garden, and I haven't even told him all of this yet. So
surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
What you say? Just another thing to check off, Art, on the honey-do list.
I know it, right? Yep. Every day there's a new list. No.
I want to say congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we've been engaged for a while now.
All right. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are, everything is, coming into, laying into place for you.
Are you both native to Oklahoma?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The old Okie from Muskogee, that's me.
He actually
from
lives in Muskogee. So
wow.
But I lived in the city for a while too. I lived in San Francisco back in the early 80s. It was a different time. It was a different city back then.
Right.
But I came back to Oklahoma and here I stay. So this is home.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, you were talking about you don't plan on being there next year. So do you have kind of a timeline in mind of how soon you guys are hoping to find property and everything?
Not necessarily. It's almost like a suddenly moment. We are in the process of downsizing and emptying the house out right now. It's amazing how much stuff you can collect over time, and we're only about 5 miles from the city dump, and I guarantee you I could go to the city dump consistently every single day after trip after trip after
ridiculous.
trip.
Oh, it's
It's like, I can't believe that we have accumulated all of this stuff. So we're in the process right now of systematically downsizing. So room by room, what's the methodology, the PALs, the 3 PALs?
Oh, we have the 3 piles. You either keep it, throw it away, or donate.
Right.
That's
Oh,
our,
yeah.
that's our
That's
yeah.
a good one.
And so that's where we are right now. Coming out of winter now will give us the opportunity to actually go and get a bird's eye view of something that we may be considering.
Right. So have we been looking at properties? Absolutely. We have been looking at properties a lot. Have we been researching? A lot. Alabama is another. The other reason why Alabama is becoming so appealing is because of their lenience on their building codes.
Oh,
Yes, the ability to catch rainwater, the ability to be 100% solar. There's so many benefits. The benefits we have as veterans there. There's just so many benefits to live in Alabama. And, give us palm trees any day, some sand, and we're happy. So it would definitely be the, southern region of Alabama.
Right.
But there are just so many benefits to living in Alabama. Yeah.
And we're just over 30 miles from the Georgia-Alabama border.
Northern border.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good. So you're not too far.
No. How far will we be if we go south though?
Montgomery is like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So we would still be within a radius of about an hour, 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, hour 45.
Mm-mm.
So if you could visualize the Florida Panhandle and come up from there into Alabama, but still stay south of Montgomery, that would be the Sweetheart area.
Sweetheart Place.
Okay.
Yeah, that we're considering.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
we're getting ready. We packed up. You will see when we do our decluttering video, which I think comes out next week, I think, and you will see just how much I downsized my closet.
Oh, really?
I am ready to go. So we're at a point where we're packing up, we're doing everything necessary, and then we're going to be ready to go. If that's in a month, then that's in a month. If it's in 2 months or 3 months, that's where we're at. Yeah, that's exactly
That's
where we're
awesome.
at.
Well, just know that there's a large community of ex-military people here that love homesteading and just survival stuff and just where we can be, out away from everything. So that's like I said, you always have a place to stay in Oklahoma if you guys come this way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'd love to have
You
you.
guys, even now, you have a place to stay.
Well,
Even now, if you guys come to Georgia.
thank you. All I need is a rucksack. I'm good. No.
Hey,
And all
We'll
they
make
need
it.
is coffee.
There you go.
Coffee. You gotta have that coffee.
Well, I don't want to take up any more of you guys' time, but is there anything else you wanted to add? Make sure I'll put the links to your channel and everything, but whatever you want to tell people about your channel, you go right ahead.
well, we're just a channel that is trying to do our best to give a realistic view to the process of moving from a dependent life where we live on the grid, where basically, I hate to say that phrase, what they call it, slave to the system, but it feels like that. And so we're trying to give that realistic view of going from that to off-grid, a very peaceful life. And, just to show people there are parts that it takes time. There is research. It is hard. Some days are harder than others, but the hard days are still joyous days because we're doing it for us and our family. And so that's really what it's about. It's about giving that realistic view and just showing the process. And that hopefully it might help somebody either say, you know what, I don't think I want to move off grid, or it might say, yeah, it's not that bad. I'm going to go and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have your own independence.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rat race is not what it's cut out to be.
No, it's
No.
not.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not. And hopefully we can show our kids maybe they're seeing something behind the scenes that would make them feel that same way down the road, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I tell Art I would love to build a little schoolhouse in the middle of our property and
Little house on the
homeschool
prairie.
all of the grandkids so that our kids can go do their careers and, you know, do what they want to do. And I'll
Yeah.
homeschool all the grandkids so that nobody has to worry about what's being taught to their children, because I have a big issue with that these days. And
Look, now that's a whole other conversation.
That is. That is.
yeah, things just aren't the same anymore, are they?
Yeah, when you look back and realize that today, fun, every time you mention fun, you have to cut a check for it. But when we grew up,
Right.
money wasn't necessarily involved in having fun. So
Right.
to be out of the rat race, to be able to run, just play
Right.
on a full day. But the way we live today, if you want to have fun, you have to cut a check to go have fun. And it shouldn't be that way.
Even when we do things with our granddaughter, the one that's here, even when we do stuff with her, it's almost like if we just really want her to get out and just do something, it is like 75 to 85% of the time is you got to cut a check. But when I just asked her last week, I said, when Gigi gets her homestead, are you gonna come to the farm so you can have your own? Gigi can make you your own petting zoo. She was like, "Yes, Gigi, that's free. That's free.
Right.
That's
She
right.
she can run to her heart's content. We're gonna get some ATVs, with just a whole 9 yards,
Heck
swings,
yeah.
everything.
Yes, that's
Get
awesome.
on bikes, just stuff we did when we were kids.
Yes.
Right. And that's going to be a new way of fun for them. And they're going to discover that fun and say, hey, this is fun.
Right.
Enjoy it,
Exactly.
So, absolutely.
Our dog will be
great.
happy because he won't have to worry about getting in trouble for running in the streets or running out the backyard or being limited to when we're in the front. So he'll be free to roam wherever he would like to roam.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been looking forward to taking Rocky out to the property because he hasn't been out there yet. And I'm like, he's not going to know. He's been confined to this little bitty yard and, most of the yard is my garden. So he's confined to a very small spot, that he can go. So he's not going to know what to think when he has freedom.
Exactly.
But I think it'll be fun. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'll make sure to put
Thank you
everything
for having
Thank you for having us.